Good morning, Spectrum. I'm Nick.
And I'm Tori, and this is the premiere production of Noise News.
First, let's catch up with the latest news on Adrian Peterson.
We all have our favorite sports heroes, such as LeBron James and Derek Jeter. But what happens when a sports hero commits a crime?
Does your outlook change?
If so, how does this change your outlook?
Some may say Adrian Peterson was in the right.
Some may say he was in the wrong. Gary and I are going to get an in-depth analysis on the Adrian Peterson story.
The specific charge that he is being charged with in Texas is punishable with up to 2 years in prison. Trials with celebrities are always a little bit tricky. The media impacts the jury pool. So when the prosecution and defense are picking the jury, they're going to have to work a little bit harder to check who will be influenced by the media that's already been out there.
Now this asks the question, is this a loving father or is this a child abuser? It's up for you to decide. This is Gary and Ryan signing off from Noise News.
Next, we get a sneak peek of upcoming winter sports.
Hey guys, it's Ted. I'm a basketball captain this year for basketball. We don't have any practices set yet, but we will be having captain's practices in the next week. So if you need more information, talk to me, Josiah, Ben, Zach, or Coach Preckle.
Hey guys, it's Ryan Colleen. I'm the captain now. We're going to have captain's practices for wrestling Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 3:30 to 5. Please come out if you can, but if you can't, still come out. Alright, see you guys, thanks.
Hey Spectrum, Nick Kopp here. I'm going to be a swim captain again this year with our co-op with Elk River. We're going to have a lot of home meets this year, so come out and support us. Anyone that's interested in swimming, come to the meeting. That'll be in the next few weeks. Otherwise, come talk to me, Locker 21.
Do it!
The coolest ones. This one.
Wow, I can't wait for those sports to start.
Now to some news on Ebola.
So are you worried about Ebola spreading through the U.S.?
Not at this point. Like I said, it always starts in a Central African country. Whatever carrier must live in tropical rainforest there. So in order for it to spread here, it would have to be people coming here from there, and then you'd have to get people infected. And the mortality rate is only normally, right now, an average of 50%.
Are you concerned about Ebola and its spreading?
Yeah.
What makes you concerned about the spread of Ebola?
It's like a really bad disease.
Should we be worried in Minnesota about a possible Ebola outbreak?
At this point, I don't think we have anything to worry about as we don't have any active cases in the state.
I'm actually pretty afraid of Ebola. I'm worried for my mom. I'm worried for my teammates.
Well, since America is a fairly sanitary and developed country, we have a modicum of risk that Ebola will perpetrate damage to society.
Sarah, are you worried about Ebola spreading?
Yes.
Why are you afraid?
Because it's
bad.
All Ebola outbreaks have been around Central Africa in tropical rainforest areas. They haven't been able to pinpoint a specific animal to the cause of Ebola, but they're thinking fruit bats might be a carrier.
Okay, so you're saying that Ebola is similar to the swine flu or the bird flu?
Right, where they're gonna have a specific host that would transfer it. Yeah.
I know that it started in Western Africa, at first in the 1980s or 90s, I believe. And there are periodic epidemics over decades usually, and this is just another epidemic that's occurring.
So do you know much about Ebola?
I know that it's really bad, and it's like spread through the blood.
Ebola spreads through contact with bodily fluids, blood, organs of an infected individual, and someone isn't going to be contagious until they're actually showing symptoms, and symptoms are vomiting, diarrhea, those are the first ones. In some rare cases, bleeding from the orifices that you hear about with Ebola.
Like any other disease, you can prevent getting it by keeping your hands away from your face.
Spreading. You gotta wash your hands. Wash your hands, kids. What happens in Texas stays in Texas.
We have some information on identity theft.
Recently, many people have been victim to identity theft. Just a couple weeks ago, JP Morgan hacked 70 million clients' names and personal information. Many other businesses are being victimized also, including Dairy Queen, whose payment systems were breached by hackers. They gained information to customers' names, credit, and debit card numbers. Home Depot was also a victim in an identity theft-related incident, where they had 21 lawsuits filed against them. Identity theft is becoming a big problem, and some people will go to great lengths to find out your personal information. They will go through your mail, homes, computers, and dumpsters. It is a big problem, and here are some ways that you can prevent it from happening to you. One way is when throwing away important documents, credit cards, taxes, health forms, or financial information, strip them into pieces so that you wouldn't be able to read or identify the information. Also, don't respond to unknown emails that require personal information. And if your credit card is stolen, cancel the credit card right away. Make sure to also monitor and keep track of your credit cards and social security information. These are just some simple ways that you could prevent yourself from being victim to identity theft.
Now let's find out how to prepare for college.
As you know, Spectrum High School is a college prep school. With that being said, our teaching staff works hard and does a great job at teaching us basic strategic tips on how to prepare ourselves for college and be successful with those tips in hand. What are the things that not just seniors, but freshmen, sophomores, and juniors can do to widen their range of college acceptance?
Wow, that's a great question. Well, first and foremost, to be honest, is have good grades. Staying up in school is really probably the best thing you can do to start off with. As a freshman, it's important to start thinking about things you're interested in. Doesn't mean you have to have a major, but you should start thinking along those lines. You should start, by the time you're a sophomore, really starting to think about schools. How far away from home do you want to be? Who's paying for college? What interests do you have? Where can you go to do that? And does the college have a major that you're interested in? And those are things you should start thinking about in your sophomore year. By the time you're a junior, you really need to start thinking about doing some college visits. You're going to know right away if you like those colleges by the time you step on campus. And you should also be planning on taking your ACT or SAT your junior year. So by the time you get to senior year, it's not as difficult for you to decide.
Explain the process you went through while applying for colleges.
Well, when I applied for college, I went online to the separate college websites and I just created an account and went through the whole application process that they had on the website. And they make it pretty simple so that you just answer questions and go through this whole series of questions that aren't too difficult.
Thank you to all the teachers who help and have aspired to help every student here at Spectrum High School to achieve academic success. I'm glad I know how to start preparing for college.
Let's meet more of the new staff.
How has Spectrum impacted your teaching career?
Teaching at Spectrum has impacted my teaching career in a wonderful way. This is my 27th year in the field of education, and being here at Spectrum has really allowed me to bring in my past experiences dealing with younger children and adults, and my volunteer experience working with middle school students, and coming here and putting all of that knowledge and skill to use here in this setting. Prior to teaching here at Spectrum, I was teaching in a correctional facility, so being back working with kids and colleagues is wonderful. So this happened at a really good time in my teaching career, and I'm just really thrilled to be here. Thanks.
My teaching career has been impacted by working for Spectrum because now I'm fully employed working in a district where technology integration and emphasizing lifelong learning and going to college or university is a really valued part of the district.
It's really helped me open my mind to different ways of teaching things and how students learn, and the students have been great in helping me figure out what works best for them.
I'd probably say we had to do a lot more with technology than I normally get a chance to, especially in art. We have computers, we have a smart board, which I've never had in a classroom before. So that seemed very helpful. I learned new things that way. Students can learn better that way, I believe. And Spectrum doesn't have really any discipline problems.
Next, we find out about new theater director. The curtains open on Spectrum's new theater director, Mrs. Stelton, who has plenty of theater experience behind her.
I was active in theater all through high school. I was also involved in the musicals and the theater group at my college as an undergraduate. And then when I became a teacher, I worked with theater in the schools. I've directed musicals and plays, as well as taught a drama class, and was the theater teacher for a 2-week musical theater workshop in the summer.
She has just as much fun acting and directing as the students do.
What I enjoy most about theater as an actor myself is getting to pretend to be somebody else. As a director, I like to see kids experience that and grow and learn about themselves and about the world.
The play this year is a murder mystery comedy called Clockwork.
I chose Clockwork because I think it's funny, and the murder mystery mayhem, everybody trying to figure out who done it, trying to protect themselves and their choices first and foremost. And I wanted something that we could have a number of people involved with, and it's something that not everybody has seen, so it's a little bit of a mystery that way.
We look forward to see what else Mrs. Stelton has in store for the theater program.
I'm expecting there to be a spring musical, and no, I don't know what that will be.
This has been Megan Hassing, signing off for Noise News.
What a theatrical story. That's all the news we have for today.
This has been the premiere production of Noise News, keeping you in on the noise.